resident flies come in. Great. Great. Okay. Good. Let's make a stop just because I can see you all. Great. Good. Let's bow. Right. 𝘭𝘪𝘢𝘵𝘢𝑚𝑎𝑠. Okay, good. So we'll just do a light loosening up. Just finding the ground. And just think about releasing the shoulders. A bit of an up and down. Movement salute. And think about really releasing the elbows, the wrists, fingers. And actually about settling the feet, just by with a little bit of a bounce down. So again, a little bit of a lift and then a release through the arms, a little bit of a lift and a release. And then just make it a little bit bigger, bringing the arms up, releasing them down. So just really focus on the shoulders, a little bit of weight down, not too big a movement, just think about heavy arms, releasing the elbows. Let the weight really down. Okay, good. And just taking it out to the side. And keep a little bit of bounce in the knees. Open up the shoulders. Add a little bit of a shoulder tap across the front. And then just taking into a rotation, keeping the arms loose again, and a little bit again, but shoulder tap. That's kind of rope up to the back as well, to the back of the shoulder. Okay, good. And that same motion of the hips, think about casting the arms out and wrapping them to the body. Roll them up, drop them back in. And again, just keeping that balance all the time with the body, letting the weight drain into the feet, trying to keep the weight even. Just thinking about the arms, wrapping back in and away from the body. Good. Great. And just loosen that hips. Nice big circles. And changing direction. Just keeping that slight shoulder width, just a very gentle circle through the knees. And switching direction. Lengthening them back a little bit. Thinking pulling the toes up, pulling towards the face. And just come a little bit wider. First, just think about dropping into the hips and just loosen out. First, just feel a kind of up and down and back motion for hip. So lengthening the back of the legs and then hinging them forward. Think of the hips kind of spreading and opening the knees as they come down. Use the hands in the ground for a little bit of extra support. And then just think about settling down again, keeping the hands in the ground. Just think about a little bit side to side, rocking. And if that feels nice and comfortable, just think about also like a figure of eight, kind of tracking through the hip one way. Also let the shoulders follow, spine follows. And again, just use the hands as much as you need for support. And then also trace the other way as well. So take it, track one way, track the other way. Good. And then just lengthening down one side. A little bit of a bounce. Take it to the other side. Taking that a little bit deeper, bringing the toes up. And then coming back to the center, dropping to the side. And just keep a nice softness to it. Don't hold anything tight. Don't stretch too much. Just mobilize, move, come out to the mobilize, move, press out to the top. Great, just coming back into the center. Press the feet away. Think about pressure into the knees with the arms. Think about lengthening up through the shoulders, like you're pulling the earlobes also away from the shoulders, creating space there. Hold it. And just really simple, just release the hands, keep the space, pull the hands up and just reach up. Keep that length through the body, through the spine. Take a nice deep breath. And then allow the body to hinge down, reach the hands into the ground. Just comfortably walk them forward a little bit, just so you feel a little bit of a pull from the hip, down the back of the legs. Working with the fingertips in the ground. And again, just a couple of deep breaths in, fill the rib cage. Breathe out and keep a length. Good. And we just do a little bit for the hands and the wrists. Just press the weight forward into the hands. I'm just going to shift position. Bring the feet together at the back. And just first starting with the pressure in the hands, even. Just treading out with the back of the legs. Loosen out the hips first. Activate the ankles, the feet, the toes. Good. And then one again, just really for the more for the hands and the feet, but think about hinging the knees down and then pressure back up, but keeping the weight in the hands all the time. It's going to activate the legs obviously, but just think about the hands, the weight in the hands being even. Lengthening up, hinging down. Good. And then just bring the knees to the ground. And we just do one last one just for the toes. Just settle back into the toes. Bring the hips. Just float them above the heels and just settle the weight back. Just a passive stretch for the toes. Okay, And then we'll work a little bit with the wrists up. Switch my hat around a little bit. So just find a position like this. You're going to stable tabletop. And then just play with 90-degree rotation. So do one hand at a time. Find a 90-degree rotation. Find the 90-degree rotation. 90-degree rotation. 90-degree rotation. When you get stuck, you can't go any further. Reverse it. So go back. Round about 90 degrees the aim. Just a little bit of stress. But it's just again, just to work on the shoulder mobility. Keeping the elbow straight most of the time. And just stretching also into the wrists, into the fingers. Just exploring different positions for the hand, different positions for the shoulder. Bearing a little bit of weight into the joint. Just warming up a little bit. Great. I've done a few rotations. Just play with a fist into the hand, fist into the ground, making a fist shape, and just play just with rocking into the fist. So just hovering the weight of the hips over the hands, and then just rocking back. If it feels really easy, you want to go a little bit more weight with it. Just pull the knees a little bit further back, and again, just think about rocking the weight of the body into the hands, and rocking back. So just a couple of seconds, rock out. Feel the weights nice and supported with the shoulders, the elbow, the wrist, and rock back. So again, it's just a test of the structure, nothing too strenuous. Just to feel that you can align the wrist, the fist to the ground. Press a bit more weight into it if it feels comfortable. Okay. And then the next, you just find that position, find whatever position is kind of comfortable. You can feel weight in it, and just play with just rocking more weight into one arm than the other. And again, just a test of the shoulder. If it feels uncomfortable at any time you feel any sharp pain, come out of it slowly. And just pull the weight a little bit further forward and just play with it this way. You can also do this with a wall and do the same exercise if it's really stressful on the joint, but it shouldn't be too stressful. Shift weight, shift weight, shift weight. And then the next step with this, again, get to a position where the weight, you can comfortably hold the weight, and then just think about hinging down the elbow, hinging back up. And each time give yourself length back, so you're taking all the weight out of the hands to give them a break. And then you're shifting the weight back in, shift the weight over the hands, and then hinge down. Pull back up, hinge back, rock the hips back, give yourself a little bit of a pause with the wrist. Release it if you need to. Find the position, shift the weight in, hinge down, press up, come back. So again, just take it at your own pace, take it at your own distance. Again, if it feels uncomfortable, just take it a little bit lower, take the hips a little bit closer to the body. Perfect. Nice, easy one. Great. And then just release the wrist, just shake them out a little bit, release the fingers, wiggle them a little bit. And we're just going to do one really for the fingers and the tendons there. Just press the fingers into the ground here, pointing towards you. And again, just think about shifting weight into the hands. And you're just going to slowly press the weight of the body into the palm. Hold it a little bit, and then think about pulling the weight back, keeping the palm into the floor, shifting the weight into the heel, and then just gently peeling the palm off the ground into the fingers again. So you're just going to kind of roll the contact into the palm, roll the weight into the palm, shift the weight forward, feel that it's stable, shift the weight back, feel the contact still with the palm, and then just gently starting to peel the hand away. Again, just give yourself a little bit of pause in between. Shift the weight in, shift the weight back, pull and release the hands out. A few more. Just one last one. Great. Good. And then again, shake them out a little bit. Shake them out, up and down a little bit. Doggy paddle. And when we're just a few of the classic Aikido ones, so just start with the Nikyo. This one, thumb down. You can go to this position or whatever. It's also good for opening the toes a little bit if you want. if it feels uncomfortable, come onto the feet. Come up onto the feet. Just start here. Just think about pulsing it on. Think of a nice strong contact with the grip and really taking the joint into this position. Perfect. And then when you switch, just think about keeping the contact. So it's easy to kind of release and let go. Think about just rolling over the joint and then take it to the other side. So we're just going to keep contact with it. And then we're switching to continuation. Just going to open the grip. You're going to shift to the back of the hand. Thumb goes in between the third and the fourth. Take the rest of the hand. And then this stretch is really thinking about two things. This stretch on the joint, and also this rotation, like the thumb away from the body. And just find a nice grip and just play with the joint a little bit. And feel that it's secure. You can take a little bit of pressure. And again, maintaining the contact, switch over, switch to the other hand. Find a nice strong grip, release it over. And then we'll take the Sankyo. So we're just going to take the back of the hand, this one. So the fingers cross over this way, thumbs near the other thumb, and then just think about twisting in. And in this case, the stretch is this with the hand, this rotation into the wrist, and also into the elbow. So it's a feeling of lightly pressing into the elbow, and also twisting into the forearm this way. Feel it's also going to pass into the shoulder. Just going to start to open up the shoulder a little bit as well. And then again, keep in contact, release over, shift to the other hand. So again, you've got that slight twist in the wrist this way, and you've got a slight impulse up through that connection. And also feel that you can just get the shoulder as well in the movement. And then one last one, taking the fingers. So if you want to do on the knees, what you can do with this one, fingers start to point towards the body. Like we did before, if you just think about gently pressing the weight into the hand, just increases the stretch a little bit. Elbows straight with this one. I'm just going to press a little bit of weight into the body. If it feels totally safe, you can kind of leave the hand as it is, and you can shift the weight back. And nice and slowly, let's release it off, and then switch the hand. So take the fingers away. That feels fine as it is. And then if it feels okay, you can take it a little bit deeper. That feels okay, you just take it a little bit deeper with the body. So the arms straight, elbows straight. Really open up the fingers. Nice and slowly release it. Peel the hand off. Shake the hands out. Come up to standing. Shake out the feet. And shaking them at the top. Keep shaking them out, down. And just take it really into the whole body, shake everything out. Feel the sense line, feel the feet are just settled into the ground. Open up the shoulders a little bit. And just take a little bit of time here. Nice position here is just for the hands to just fall into the center, and just feel that kind of as an impulse here in the core. And just feel it settle into the ground. Shoulders really just settle it back into the body. And just play with an impulse, really starting in the core and feeling that you can kind of roll it, you can drop it into the feet. But just feel that it's able to mobilize while you're stable. And just take it to a nice subtle pulse, like a heartbeat in the center of the body. Just let the breath calm down. There we go. Perfect. Good. Take a jump. We're going to do a little bit of kappa. And this. Okay. We'll look at the 13 go kata. So it's quite a short kata, but it's got a few complicated movements in it. We'll start with a really basic start of it, which is just the very first movement. So if I would just do the first 𝗧𝗪𝗡, we'll just work with it from there. Just straight into it. So you're starting left side, 𝘭𝘰𝘦𝘴. into the ski, settling, and just coming back. Just looking nice, coordinated, into the movement, and settling back. One easy movement into the ski, and pulling back. Just your own time, keep it. Good. So one of the, there's lots of interesting parts of this kata, but one of the interesting parts is the idea of using the line and basically exploring different options with the line. When we do the first 𝘭𝘪𝘐 with the Jo, where you're looking to basically follow the line, because what you're looking for is the simplest movement in terms of organizing the body. So what I do in the first 𝘭𝘪𝑥 is basically just pass straight through down the line this way. Okay. In terms of doing the kata, you're going to explore some different patterns in this case. So feel that you've got the line here. Just play with two things. One is going straight down the line this way, and really establishing that clear sense of the line. And then think of the other alternative, in this case, is the one we're going to use for this kata, is coming off the line to the left side. And you're wedging the line, but my attack, it's not just going to the side, it's actually wedging straight back down the line. Okay, but the body's actually going to leave the line, and it's going to thrust back onto it this way, okay? So just explore these two. One is to just go straight down, like you would with the 𝘧𝗪𝘏. And the second way is just coming off the side, left side, thrusting back onto the line. The same motion, same organization, just exploring a little bit of a subtlety to the movement. In this case, it's wedging off to the left side. Yeah, good. Good, nice. That's it. Yeah, good. So we'll go straight into the strike. Generally, what we do in the 𝘧𝗪𝘏 in this case is like go into this position and then pull up into the center and then switch and into the strike. In terms of the 13-jar kata, we're going to go straight into strike, but we'll split it up just as it's a kind of entry point to it. And there's an interesting aspect to this. So what I want to do is already play with coming off the line, left side, and then what I want you to think about is the back leg, the back hand, finding the center of the Jo into this position. Yes, you're going to kind of whip the Jo up to the top. Just play with that as a movement. So you're starting here, going up to the left side thrust in, and then just think about the back foot, back hand, rolling into the center line of the Jo. And I want to feel that the right hand basically takes the center of the Jo, the middle of the Jo, and then it goes right above the center of the head, the center line. Left side here, and then the whole body's going to just roll into the center here. Don't worry too much about the left leg in this case. You're just going to kind of move into it. But the key, again, is the mobilizing of the back hip, back hand together. Yeah, and you're going to find right into the center line, into the middle of the Jo, middle of the weapon. That's Okay. So this is where it's like the language is a bit limiting in terms of what we do. But two words you can use for this is like pull, push the jaw up, or like kick the jaw up. But the feeling in this is that the back here is basically going to mobilize, and it's going to kind of kick the back end of the jaw up to the top of the head. So what I don't want to do in this case is basically pull the jaw up, and then the hip goes into the movement. So think about driving it with the lower body. So the back end of the jaw is being motivated by the back hip kind of kicking in. So the sensations as if the jaw is being kind of kicked away from the body, and I'm going to use the hand to basically control that movement up to the top. But just play with it again. It's really feeling. What we do with the 𝗧𝗪𝗏 generally is like pull back and go up. In this case, a different movement. I'm going to draw down and raise up. It's this way. So I'm going forward with the hip, and I want that movement of the hip to basically directly affect the jaw, directly affect it up to the top. This position. Just play with it a little bit. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Good. Yeah. Yeah, and it's also an interesting part that it's a process of allowing the jaw to do what it's kind of naturally going to do. So think about it like this. I'm kind of pulsing into the grip here, and then if I just release the jaw, it's going to do that. It's going to kind of release up as I move the body. So I'm actually allowing the jaw to do that as I go into this motion is actually happening. Now I want to control it, but I don't want to manipulate the jaw. So what I mean by that is like I don't want to do this up at the top with the arms doing it. So what I'm thinking about is the jaw moving, and I'm just going to kind of track it with the whole body underneath. So just play with now the back position, the left hand, taking the strike, taking the position of the strike. So you go here, and then think about this, opening up the grip. Yes, I'm getting into a position where I can use the left hand now to take, and then enter into the strike. Go into the strike if you want to, but just feel that you can get into this position now and basically open up. Yeah, but the feel is that I'm kind of giving the jaw a little bit of freedom, and I'm going to follow it with the body. That's it. Yes, good, Chris. That's it. That's it. Good. There we go. Good. Good. Now, go into the strike, but think about this. We're still going to divide it a little bit. Think about this is one motion, and then think about this is two. It's going to be like one with the foot, and then the strike's going to be the back leg coming around and basically finding the ground this way. Okay? So dividing it, but trying to keep the body moving together. So it's going to be like 1, 2 up to the top, and then 3 striking into the ground this way. And that's just as the back hip's kind of drawing downwards to the ground. So connection work in this case is like this: 1, 2, shifting into the right foot, splitting the grip, and then 3, engaging into the cut this way. So those moves are going to come together next, but just for now, think about them as just separate movements in terms of the feet, hands. Boom, boom. That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's it. And then again, think about the jaw in the same way. I don't want to, in this case, kind of manipulate the jaw in a way where I'm going like this and pulling it down. So I don't want to kind of have the sense that I'm actually pulling, because what's that going to do is, as I finish the movement, I'm basically pulling from the top, and the body raises as I do it. So think about, again, that's the sensation that the jaw is going to drop on its own. It's going to drop on its own, and I'm basically going to catch it with the body in position there. So it's the feeling of actually you're setting the jaw up so that it can fall, and then you're just catching the body, catching it with the body. Yeah, and the hands are included in that. But again, I don't want to push the jaw through the movement. I want to allow it to find that path and actually just catch it at the end. So it's just a little bit of a different way to look at it in terms of connection work, giving the jaw a little bit of freedom. And just trying to align the body behind that movement in this case. That's yeah, good. Very nice. Good. Okay. Yeah, now the only point to separate those movements is really to bring them back in together again. So think about now, this is really just one motion. This is one thing, and then now this is all one thing coming into the strike. So it's just trying to put those pieces back together now. That's the important part now, to integrate the body back into one motion. So give yourself a little bit of a pause again at the ski. So use the form. In this case, this is 1, and then 2 is going to be all the way through and into the strike. And I really want that to be one motion. So the whole body goes in together, and then the whole body goes in together into the strike. So very good, nice. Yeah, perfect. Nice. Very good. Okay, we're going to go to the next 2 moves. So in the cats, this is 3 and 4. What I want to do is just start already in the right side, and you're in a shorter grip, just like you would use just as you finish the strike with the jaw. This way. Right foot is forward. What I want you to just play, don't worry too much about the angle of this. Just think about drawing the jaw back, opening the grip out, and you're going to go into like a high block into this position, and then think about thrusting back down the line this way. So don't worry too much again about specifics of this, just to get the feeling first. So find the right side, think about drawing the opening back, and then allowing the jaw to thrust back in forward. Okay, so you're starting close grip like you would do with the strike. Right foot forward, you're going to press into the right foot, and then you're going to roll open the arms, and then you're going to press forward into the ski. So we're going to a little bit specific to the legs, but just get that kind of feeling, the kind of feeling to roll back, get underneath, and then to use that feeling to press forward, thrust out. So in terms of function, this is going to be a block and then into a strike. So the feelings to collect underneath and then release forward. Nice. Yeah, good. Good. Okay, good. Then again, we'll just look at a little bit of specific for the footwork. In this case, right foot forward. Think about the body, the back hip is going to slightly wedge and open back this way. Okay, so rather than just thinking about going back, something like this, think about also you're slightly opening up the left side of the body. So what you're going to do in terms of line work, in terms of the kata, I'm going to be finishing this kind of position, and then I'm going to wedge back across the line this way, and then I'm going to let this foot basically find the line again this way. And then the next ski movement is to basically just pass straight down the line this way. Okay, so in terms of this block, you're thinking about wedging your back hip this way and basically finding the center line, finding the line of attack here, and then passing the body straight down with the ski. Okay, so the first thing to kind of get with this is just the sense that the left hip can start to open out. So it's a little bit of a wider position, not just back. And then I'm wedging down the line forwards with the ski. So that's it. Yeah, so what it means, this is probably a bit difficult to show. It's not great, but let's see. Like, watch this. When I do the footwork in this case, I do like this back, and then this foot basically finds the line. Now, this foot doesn't go back across this way, but it goes here, and then it goes down, straight back down the line basically. So think about where I finished would be to position 2. You wedge back across, but this foot really finds the line, and I'm in this position. And then this foot and the hip are basically going to do this motion straight back down the line, rather than coming here and then doing something like that this way. So this is a wedge position. I'm going to wedge underneath the weapon. I've got the opening, and then I just pass straight down, back down the line. Okay, give it a try. So it's a little bit specific. It's difficult to do without a sense of a line, but through 2. You know, 3, really establish that foot in the ground, and then think about just passing straight forward into the strike. So that's it. Good. Very good. Yeah, there we go. Good. And then we'll just put those 4 moves together. So think about the left side, starting here. You've got the 𝗬𝗞𝗏, which goes just off to the left side. You've got the 𝘭𝘰𝘠𝘵 strike, goes off to the right. And then you're pulling the jaw back into the block, re-establishing the center line here, the line of attack, and then into the 𝗬𝗞𝗏 for number 4. So it's, in this case, number 1, 𝗬𝗞𝗏, number 2, strike, number 3, block, and then number 4, 𝗬𝗏𝗏. It's quite a simple set in terms of movement, but it's nice. There's some nice subtle changes of the body in terms of the line work. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just come back. Hold. Nice. Good. Yeah, that's it. Good. Great. Very nice. Okay, good. So keep that in mind. Just put it in the back of your mind for now. We're going to look at the 𝗧𝗪. So the 𝗧𝗪 moves forms a really big, important part of this kata, and it's a really tricky 𝗧𝗪. So what we do is go back to the basic 𝗧𝗪 form, and then we'll explore it as it is in the kata. So what we're going to do is just start with the right side, right foot forward, like we did just before. And in this case, the basic 𝗧𝗪 form, what I'm looking to do is the back hip again mobilizing, and to mobilize, in this case, the jaw in this position. So the very first movement you're going to make is a kind of opening of the grip, and it's a rotation here of the back hip. And I'm looking to basically establish the back foot towards the ground, and I'm looking for the toes to basically establish the direction of travel, which is going to be backwards. Okay, so all the toes just to align to that. So just play this again. We're going to break it down, and we'll try and really bring it back together first, next. But think about opening out, and then think about just passing the body back. Yeah, don't worry about the 𝗧𝗪 part for now. The real important part in this one is the sense that you can spiral the connection down into the ground, and you can open out the grip. Okay, this way. And then just feel the body can just pass backwards. Here. So just the kind of hip work, the footwork, as the focus, and a little bit of this sense that you're just going to open the connection of the arms up. Yes, and this, starting right side, and then it's just letting the left hip open, left foot rotate back, and then just letting the jaw pass backwards. So knees, especially, and you don't want to kind of aggravate anything. You just want to work with the joint system. And again, the key thing is letting the weight drain down, letting the body just mobilize through that movement. Naturally, no strain on the body. That's good. Okay, so we're going to do the way, this is the way often the Hasso Gaishi was taught as a kind of basic movement and as a basic pattern. It puts you really in the right area. It's also nice to know it to teach it, because when you do come to teach it, you need to be able to break it down for people as well, because Hasso move is a really tricky movement and it's not necessarily intuitive for most people. So think about this, you're going to open out. In this case, you're going to open this connection, and then you're just going to step back with the foot. And as you step back, you're going to allow the right hand just to go to the side of the body. So you come into this position. What you're going to do now with the left hand is just going to gently drop down. And with this hand in control of the jaw, you're just going to allow it to rotate up, and then just find this top position. Don't worry about the grip at the end. It's just to get the path of the jaw at the top. So 3 parts of this really. The first is the opening. The second is the step back, drawing the jaw to the side. And then the third is this. This is now the important part, this movement down, and then just allowing the jaw to pass up to the top. Okay. So it's opening 1, coming out to the side, and then drawing it to the top. And then try and break it down as much as you can. I'm not really doing a very good job of it. So you're going to go 1, you're going to go 2, you're going to go 3. To the top. Again, it's just to get the general idea of the Hasso, get the jaw basically moving in the right direction, get the right end going in the right position, and then everything's going to be smoothed out later. So, that's easy.
It doesn't matter if the thumb is above or below, right? Because naturally it will be on the grip. When you do the Hasso, it's push.
This one, yeah. I in this case, I wouldn't worry too much about this. In that case, I'm going to be, I don't really want the thumb in front. Yeah, like especially as it goes down this, especially as it goes through this area, because that's basically where I'm going to use to block, and I don't want the thumb basically be in that area. So what I'm basically going to do is I'll just allow the thumb to kind of the hand to soften, and then I'm basically just using the fingertips in that position this way. So that would be the next step in this case, which is just use the fingertips. But yeah, just notice the thumb as you go up. That's it. Let's see. Yeah, the main thing with this Hasso is just to get with this one, feel that the back end of the jaw is going to kind of go out away from the body, and then it's going to come up to the top. So the part of the jaw that really mobilizes. I used to have a colored thing for my jaw. You could see the end of it. Think about the back end really kind of rolling, and then the back end is gonna go this way up to the top of the ceiling. So by the end of the movement, this part of the jaw, the back end is going to be in this part of the ceiling this way. So that part of the jaw is going to go up at the end of the motion. And I want to do it in the easiest way, which is to just come over and then just allow this part to go up to the top this way. So again, not really about specifics, but just to get the general motion of the jaw, which is going to go out to the side, and then it's going to come up to the top this way. So it's going to go out here, and then up to the top. So, easy dog.
Sorry, Mikey.
Oh, no, it's fine. It's fine.
The right hand, I feel like it's easier to rotate the jaw if it's in the middle approximately.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
That's the opposite.
Yeah, so if I think about this movement, the very first motion is also this hand, basically open out so I can get into the center of the weapon. Now, I don't want to go like before it, and I also don't really want to go beyond it. Because if I go beyond it, then the Jo's really a little bit unwieldy. It's also a little bit of practice in terms of Hatha is also this idea of like being able to find the center and basically mobilize through it. So think about that kind of motion later. But yeah, play with it a little bit because it depends also on the function of the movement as well. But ideally, I'm going to be really somewhere in the middle of the Jo because it's going to allow me to manipulate it much easier than if I'm working with an uneven movement. But yeah, it's not a fixed rule, but yeah, so this is the other, again, it's just a way to get into the movement. I don't really like doing this, but it's just to get the idea of it. Think about coming here and then think about this hand pushing the Jo away. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit more like a swipe, but think about this pattern, and then this hand's going to kind of push the Jo away. Now, this really isn't what we do later, but again, it's just to get the feeling for it that I can go back and then I can just let the back end roll out. Now, the key part of this movement, again, is the path of the Jo as it goes up. So it's starting to kind of tie the movement together now, but the key part of this now is going to go to the side, and then you're going to slightly give a little bit of an impulse to the weapon this way. And again, it's just to get the feel for the kind of movement I want to do, but not quite. But again, it's just to get me in the right kind of area for it. Okay, that's it. It's tricky. Yeah, okay. And then what I want to do is just try a different method for this, and it's starting to go nearer where I want the Hasso movement to go really. So what we're going to do is like this again, it's not for the full Hasso yet, but think about this. What I want to do is open this part's the same, open it up. Now I want this hand, rather than to push out, what I want it to do is the fingers to flow down the weapon this way. And as I rotate this hand now, as I follow the Jo, I want this hand just to come into this position, okay? So while this is practice, a little bit more sensitivity, and I'm going to work with just the hands, just the fingertips in this motion. So this turns over and then just to this point. Yeah, I'm just going to let the Jo come to this part. Now, the key part of this move is you're going to basically do all this rotation work together, and you're going to end really in this asymmetrical position. Okay, but the key part now is to see if you can get the rotation in the Jo to basically be one motion. So you open, you flow, you step back, and you rotate the back end up. And we're doing the kind of softest way possible. And if you're really familiar with this, just take a little bit of time in that end position. Really asymmetrical position for the body. But it's very easy to kind of hold the body up in those positions. So just think about a little bit, something really soft. And if I'm really familiar with that motion, I can really kind of get the feeling of it. Just go to the idea of how soft I can make the movement, and how little kind of manipulation I have to do with the weapon. And again, I'm just trying to let the Jo flow into the movement. Yeah, that's good. Nice. Good. Very good. And then we're just going to have one movement there. So think about that as one motion. So this here. Okay, now you're in this position. The fingertips just at the edge of the weapon. The left foot is a little bit further forward. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the Jo here with the left hand. And as you do, you're going to draw the foot in, and you're going to open up the right hand into this position. And you're going to open it up into open hand position. Okay. So think of this now as two parts. It's like this one coming here. Oh wait, sorry. It's going to be one, rotate up into this position, and then think about taking the Jo with the hand, switching over and opening up the right hand. And you're going to finish that classic Hasso position in this case. One up to that point, and then just collect it up to the top. And again, later I really want to do one motion, but again, useful to just isolate parts of it. Just to notice when those transitions are going to be made in the hands. So you've got a lot of hand work now. It's really, again, just about tying the body into the hand work. Yeah, nice, Chris. That's it. Yeah, good. It's a tricky move as well, so. Very nice. Okay, good. Okay, and then we're just going to do a few, just forget the jaw, it's just going to be at the left side of the body for now. Just focus on basically integrating the whole body. So the real feeling that you want in the hatha. Again, this feeling of draining down. But the key part of this is that the core is going to kind of melt, or that the pressure is going to melt around the core in this case. So what I don't is like a stiff outside of the body, and I'm kind of dragging the jaw up into these kind of movements. So forget the jaw in this case. Just think about this hand. You're going to kind of roll and open it, and think about this. This fluidity is going to go to the top. Now again, I don't want to feel that I'm kind of holding the hand through the motion or pulling the hand through the motion. What I want to feel is that the core is going to kind of initiate the movement, and then the whole periphery of the body is going to kind of melt around it. Okay, so it's just kind of losing the jaw for now, just lose the weight in it, and just explore the sense of being able to soften the outside of the body. Okay, so the inside strong, the core's engaged. The feet are engaging into the ground, but especially the hands, the shoulders, everything's going to just be a little bit softer. That's it. That's it. That's it. Just it's a very small thing, but there's two things to notice with this. One is that if I'm kind of neutral, if the arm's relaxed, and then I go into the tendency is to do something like this, and then do the movement. So the arm kind of and then does it this way. Try and get out of that. But the other one is that for the arm to be held out and stiff already. So if it's kind of held out stiffly from the body, if it's held out in a rigid way, then you can soften and go into it, but then it really needs to soften first. So just notice as you kind of bring the arm out now, that kind of feeling, that it's already supple. Yeah, and it's not kind of stiff, and it's not kind of relaxed, and then it goes into motion. So think about really consciously finding that pattern. There, it's soft, but it's connected to the body, and then find it. So again, it's a very subtle point, but it's the difference between starting stiff and trying to look for softness, or starting really loose and then trying to look for connection. There's something in between where I'm actually just connected, the joints connect to the body anyway. And you just kind of roll through it. But again, very subtle point. Difficult distinction in this case.
But in the beginning, maybe it's like Henko, like it stays the same level.
It's that, yeah, it's the same feeling in a sense, like whenever I've got that kind of extension away from the body with the hand, that it's always kind of soft. Now, if you think about going into like tiny Henko or whatever, Morihei, all these kind of motions that we make with the arm. Now, I want to feel that it's really supple, that the arm's kind of supple, and that the shoulder's supple. But yeah, basically any kind of movement you can make, if you think about it with the arm. In this case, the hatha is just a very interesting one. It's quite a complex one to get the core to initiate and to get the upper body to follow, and to get this feeling of like soft connection through the arm. Again, a little bit tricky. Ooh. Good, and now just play with it. So you can do this without the jaw, just with the arm, just kind of play with that connection. And then feel that you can also just take it to the jaw as well. So again, I want the same kind of quality in the arm. Here, again, not held stiff and not kind of loose and then expecting it to go. So think about just connecting into the back. The back is full, the legs are full, and then just think about initiating into the hatha and just play with that progression again. So you can do either like this, just opening out. You can kind of open out, pause, roll up. Or you can kind of find the full motion up. Yeah, or you can just play with the arm again. So the idea again is just to integrate back into the movement, bring it all back together. But then I'm going to use the progression to go just explore the connection work again. And again, as long as I can keep the arm feeling it's connected with a supple quality, and I can work with the jaw, and I can work with a little bit more weight, and I can just build on it. So. Yeah, that's it. And then just finish with one last move. So the hassle gives you lots of opportunities to kind of strike from it. Very last few moves. Just think about again coming up into the hassle. Find this position, and then you're going to go to strike. So think about finding the center line, and just finish with a nice couple of strong strikes. So you're going to reset. You're going to look for the hassle. Find it again in any way you feel comfortable with, and then just think about engaging into the strike. So you've got really now very clear finish to the movement. You've got this very supple roll up to the top, opening up, and then striking down to the ground. So again, in terms of direction work, in terms of asymmetrical movements through the body, really a great move to work with. Balance, the core, the periphery, connecting to the ground. Really a nice movement. Nice. Nice. Good, and because that's a really asymmetrical move, we just spend just 20 seconds or so, just find the ground, just find a really neutral position, let the weight really settle into the feet, let the shoulders really release. And again, just play with like we did at the beginning, just a very subtle impulse from the core. Feel the weight of the jaw just drain down, release also the fingers, thumbs. Just get calming the body down a little bit. Going to a really neutral position of the shoulder, hip, knees. Just make it quieter, make it smaller. Just going to a very faint, kind of a heartbeat pulse for a movement. Great. Okay, we're going to bow out right there. Good. Good flying right. Okay. Great. Domo arigato. Okay, great. Very good. Thank you very much.